night in New York, a young woman named Hazel calmly gets dressed and touches up her makeup. She then met her one-night stand, the man whose throat she had already cut. With cold precision, she wiped the blood from his mouth, removed every trace of her fingerprints from his body, and walked out of the hotel room, leaving no sign she had ever been there. 20 years later, Hazel runs a small, quiet diner, serving the same familiar faces every day. No one suspects that the polite woman behind the counter is hiding a dark and deadly past. Whenever the police came by, Hazel always covered their bill without saying a word. Her teenage daughter, Joy, eventually noticed and asked why. Hazel explained that it was important to stay on good terms with the police. If anything ever went wrong, she would need their help fast. She couldn't afford to have them against her. While they were talking, Hazel noticed Joy's boyfriend sitting at a nearby table and made it clear she didn't approve of him. Knowing her mother would never accept their relationship, Joy made a bold request. She asked Hazel to give her all the money saved for college so she could leave Las Vegas and start a new life with him. Hazel immediately rejected the idea, scolding Joy for being impulsive and refusing to give her the college savings. She reminded her daughter that she had built her own life from nothing and expected Joy to do the same. Believing the boyfriend was a bad influence, Hazel urged her to break up with him. But Joy refused, insisting he was a good person. Their talk quickly turned into a heated argument, ending with Joy declaring she would move out and start a new life with him. Joy's boyfriend, like many young people her age, had no money for college and lived more on impulse than on plans. That same day, while serving a male customer, Joy realized he couldn't pay for his meal. When he finished eating without giving her any money, she lost her temper, convinced he had just scammed her. Hazel quickly stepped in to calm the situation. The man admitted he was homeless and couldn't pay for his meal. Instead of kicking him out, Hazel offered him a dishwashing job and a place to stay for a while. After looking over the room, he introduced himself as Elliot. Meanwhile, Joy's boyfriend kept pressuring her for money so they could move out together. When she told him to find a way on his own, he became more demanding, insisting she use her college savings instead. The next day, while chatting with her regular customers, Hazel saw Joy walk in wearing sunglasses that covered most of her face. Sensing something was wrong, she quickly ended the conversation and hurried over. Joy tried to walk past her, but Hazel pulled off the sunglasses and froze when she saw a dark bruise around her daughter's eye. Joy admitted that her boyfriend had hurt her, but begged Hazel not to do anything, warning that his family was dangerous. But Hazel was too angry to listen. Without saying a word, she went home, changed into a striking black dress, and took out the gun hidden under her bed. Meanwhile, Joy's boyfriend was at an auto shop, laughing and joking with a friend, completely carefree and unaware that Hazel was already on her way to find him. Hazel burst into the shop and demanded to speak with him alone. He refused and mocked her in front of his friend. Without a second thought, Hazel punched him in the face, knocking him back, then kicked him hard, sending him crashing to the ground. When the mechanic tried to step in, Hazel sprayed him with pepper spray, leaving him gasping and disoriented. Blood ran down Joy's boyfriend's face as Hazel pulled out her gun and ordered him to follow her. When he refused, she fired a warning shot past his ear. Terrified, he had no choice but to obey, muttering about his possibly broken nose as he stumbled after her. In the parking lot, Hazel snatched his phone and threw it away. She forced him into the control booth and tied him up tightly with duct tape. Then she drove deep into the Las Vegas desert, with her daughter's boyfriend bound in the back seat. Hours later, at a remote spot, she pulled him out of the car and led him to a shallow grave already dug then. Without saying a word, pushed him in. Hazel told him she had dug the grave the day they first met because she always knew he would hurt her daughter. Then she pulled the trigger, turned around, and walked away without looking back, leaving his body in the pit. The next morning, Joy kept texting her boyfriend but got no reply. Worried, she confronted Hazel about where he was. Staying calm, Hazel lied, saying they had argued and he decided to leave the city on his own. Joy didn't believe her and warned that her boyfriend's family were dangerous criminals who would seek revenge if anything happened to him. She said they wouldn't hesitate to go after whoever was responsible. But Hazel stayed calm and showed no fear. Enraged, Joy stormed out. Elliot tried to comfort Hazel, but they soon noticed a suspicious man taking photos of him from a distance. Hazel ran toward the man to confront him, but he took off without saying a word. When she came back, Elliot was in the kitchen, tense and lost in thought. The moment he saw her, he straightened up and pretended everything was fine. That night, Elliot woke from a nightmare and quietly started packing his things, hoping to leave without being noticed. But Hazel caught him. When she asked about the man who had taken his photo, he insisted he didn't know anything, but the worry on his face said otherwise. When Hazel questioned him about his past, Elliot said he would tell her, but only if she shared hers too. Hazel refused, and the two parted ways. After he left, Hazel noticed the same suspicious man still watching from afar and taking photos. When he finally drove away, she followed him to a remote motel, broke into his room, and knocked him unconscious. A while later, the man woke up groggy and found himself staring down the barrel of Hazel's gun. Under pressure, he admitted he was a freelance journalist investigating Elliot. He claimed Elliot had killed someone and was now hiding from the law. To prove it, he directed Hazel to his laptop, which contained all the evidence. In the motel room, Hazel found a news article about Elliot. He had once been a respected heart surgeon, but his career ended after a drunk driving accident that killed his girlfriend. He served 4 years in prison and had only recently been released. After learning the truth, Hazel took the reporter's laptop and warned him never to come back. Then she walked away and returned to her normal life, serving her usual customers as if nothing had ever happened. That day, Hazel found Joy in tears, still unable to reach her boyfriend. She tried to comfort her, but Joy pushed her away and ran out. When Hazel followed her outside, she unexpectedly ran into Phil, a former coworker who told her their old boss had just been released from prison. The news made Hazel freeze as a wave of unease washed over her. She knew exactly why he had returned. He asked to meet the next day, and she agreed. But when he stopped by the diner, he unexpectedly brought up Joy, praising Hazel for how well she'd raised her. Beneath the compliment, however, was a hidden threat that made Hazel's blood boil. The next morning at breakfast, Hazel told Elliot about the journalist and showed him the documents she had found. Faced with the evidence, Elliot admitted he had once operated on the reporter's father, but the surgery failed. Ever since, the reporter had held a grudge and was now trying to destroy Elliot's reputation by bringing up the accident that killed his girlfriend. After hearing the whole story, Hazel didn't hesitate. She asked Elliot to help her deal with the man threatening them both and begged him to watch over Joy for one night. She had to leave the city to handle something important. Though uneasy, Elliot agreed. That evening, Hazel met Phil as planned. He took her to see their old boss, who was thrilled to see her after 20 years. As they talked, he reminisced about meeting her when she was just 15 and how he had trained her to become one of his best assassins. After reminiscing, he revealed the real reason he wanted to see her. He wanted Hazel to come back to work for him. The target was a client named Perry, and he offered her a large upfront payment. But Hazel refused, firmly saying she couldn't go back to that life, even if she still owed him. When the boss realized Hazel wouldn't change her mind, he switched tactics. He hinted that he knew about Joy's boyfriend's disappearance and made subtle threats about her daughter. His message was clear: leaving this life wouldn't be as easy as Hazel thought. Realizing the danger behind her former boss's words, Hazel reluctantly agreed to take the job. That night, she went to a casino to watch her target, Perry, before returning home to have drinks with Elliot. As the alcohol eased her guard, she began to open up, talking about her past struggles with addiction and how she had been rescued, trained, and used like a weapon. The night ended with an intimate moment between them. The next morning, Hazel met with Elliot and told him she was leaving that night. She asked him to look after Joy, and he agreed. That evening, dressed elegantly, Hazel returned to the casino. Pretending to run into Perry by chance, she caught him off guard and quickly gained his interest. He invited her to his private suite, where they talked and reminisced. As Perry finished his drink, Hazel offered to pour him another, secretly slipping something into the glass while he wasn't looking. But before he could drink it, he began talking about their past, the relationship that had ended 20 years ago. He admitted he still had feelings for her and wanted to rekindle what they once shared. Hazel was stunned by his confession. When Perry lifted the glass to drink, she quickly grabbed it and kissed him to distract him. A knock at the door interrupted them, giving her a chance to hide the drink. After the interruption, they resumed kissing and agreed to meet again. Later that night, Hazel returned to the diner and slipped back into her usual routine, working alongside Elliot, who quietly continued washing dishes. Hazel had no idea that Elliot was actually an undercover agent working for her former boss. He had accepted the mission to watch her every move long before he arrived. One day at the diner, a police officer mentioned that several teenage girls had recently gone missing in the area. When Hazel asked her cook if he knew anything about it, he said he didn't. The officer then reminded her to report anything suspicious she might hear. Just then, Phil showed up to warn Hazel that Perry was getting ready to leave town. If she wanted to act, it had to be now. Seeing her hesitation, he reminded her that failure could put Joy in danger. Frustrated, Hazel walked away, and Elliot stepped in to comfort her. With a heavy heart, she asked him to take care of Joy, knowing she would have to leave again soon. Even as Elliot held her, Hazel stayed distant, then quietly walked away. Moments later, he texted the boss to confirm that Hazel would make her move that night. Later that evening, Hazel slipped into Joy's room to check on her one last time before she left. Hazel met with Elliot and told him she had to leave for work. He tried to stop her, but she refused, determined to do what needed to be done. As soon as she walked out, Elliot called the boss to report. Meanwhile, Hazel arrived at the hotel, loaded her gun, and stepped into the elevator to face Perry. At that same moment, Perry received a mysterious package containing a photo of Joy. The sight of it stunned him. He suddenly realized Joy was his daughter, born from his relationship with Hazel 20 years ago. Still shocked by the revelation, Perry was caught off guard when his wife suddenly walked into the room. Thinking quickly, he pretended the setup was for a romantic date night with her. Hazel had a change of heart and broke into her boss's hideout. After quietly taking down a guard, the boss saw her on the security cameras and ordered Phil to stop her. But before Phil could make a move, Hazel ambushed him and took him out. Hazel made her way to the boss's room, where he was already armed and waiting. Anticipating his move, she shot him in the arm. Wounded, he tried to manipulate her, revealing that Elliot had been working for him the whole time. But Hazel stayed calm and told him she no longer belonged to his world. Before pulling the trigger, she called him father, revealing he was her biological dad. Hazel then went home, still covered in blood, quietly cleaned herself up, and checked on her daughter without saying a word. The next morning, she walked past Elliot without responding to his greeting, leaving him puzzled by her sudden coldness. Just as Hazel was about to start her shift, Joy came over, gave her a quick hug, and walked outside. Moments later, Hazel heard a strange sound behind her. When she turned around, she was shocked to see her boyfriend covered in blood but still alive. He motioned for her to stay quiet, and she silently nodded. Later, Joy asked to borrow the car, and Hazel handed her the keys before returning to work. As she kept taking orders, she suddenly noticed the chef was gone. Stepping outside to look for him, she was shocked to see a strange man attacking him, and she rushed in to help. As Hazel fought off one attacker, another man tried to kidnap a teenage girl. But when he saw Hazel, he let the girl go and charged at her instead. She managed to take him down, but a third man suddenly pulled out a gun and fired several shots, sending her collapsing to the ground. Amid the chaos, the men grabbed the girls and fled. Elliot rushed to Hazel's side, desperately trying to stop the bleeding as she lay still in a pool of blood.